possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in the Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend the night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying, yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in the Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend the night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying, yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in the Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend the night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying, yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to the SINOC Online Enterprise Development Program. I am Michael Waila and I'll be your moderator. Remember, this is yet another year for the SINOC Online Enterprise Development Program. These engagements have been happening throughout the years, and very many people are beneficiaries and very many people are witnesses, and they can give testimonies that these engagements have really helped them when it comes to business development, when it comes to developing their SMEs. Here today is our first day. Remember, we shall be starting today and we will be ending around 25th. And the sessions will all be online. You can still follow us online via Vectra Energy on our YouTube channel. You can also follow Vectra Energy on Twitter. You can also follow us live on Facebook. We will be there every day starting 9 to midday, and we'll be having quite a number of consultants who will be here to teach you about a number of issues that will help you do your business very well. Here today, we have our sponsors, SINOC Uganda. You know, SINOC looked at, SINOC has been dealing with quite a number of business people, and it has been engaging quite a number of people with enterprises, SMEs, and it found it right to organize these trainings so that it really works with the people who are really well versed with what is happening right now, because we will be having people who will be teaching us about compliance, about branding. Very many things will be learned here. So today we have someone from SINOC, our sponsors, Mr. Eric Jumba, the manager, national content, and he will be here to tell us why they had to organize these sessions, why they are important, and what you as Ugandans will benefit from these sessions. Remember, this is a program that is covering the whole country. In fact, I should say it's not the whole country, but the whole world, because it has no limit. Everyone is a beneficiary. Everyone out there, just share the link, share it with your friends so that they also benefit from the session. So I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Elif Jumba from SINOC. You are welcome, Mr. Elif.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Wera. Good morning, our viewers and participants today. I do take this opportunity to welcome you warmly to our initial day, or the kickoff day of our online or hybrid online and physical enterprise development training program. This program starts today on this 12th day of May, and we will have a physical session towards the conclusion of this training program. And the day of that physical session will be communicated throughout the week. So at SINOC Uganda Limited, we are very, very keen and very interested in national content development or local content development. That is, in essence, to build and create economic value in our host country, Uganda, as well as add value to the products and services that are being produced by Ugandan companies. So what do we mean by national content? National content, in essence, is a way of getting Ugandan companies, Ugandan entities, individuals to participate gainfully and beneficially in the development of our national oil reserves and national oil production. So at SINOC Uganda Limited, we take national content quite seriously, and we have categorize it into 4 pillars. So the 4 pillars are, first of all, skilling and capacity development. Then we have the employment and training of Ugandans. Then we have supplier development, as well as utilization of Ugandan goods and services. Under skills and capacity development, we also have, as a subsect, something we call knowledge and technology transfer. So at SINOC Uganda Limited, under the skilling programs, we have several training and capacity development programs, like the heavy goods vehicle driver training and licensing program. We have skills development programs such as the welders training program, and that essentially focuses on training and improving the competency and capabilities of Ugandan welders so that they are trained to international standards, especially the coded welders, high integrity welders, so that they are able to weld our infrastructure together in the oil industry, like pipelines and storage tanks and so on and so forth. And that coded welding, we ensure that they get certification, international certifications that are based on essentially the American Welding Society. We also have the technical skills, which basically develop the capacity and capability and competence of electricians, instrumentation engineers, pipe fitters, riggers, scaffolders, and again, on those we also ensure that our training beneficiaries do acquire internationally recognized certifications. We also have other training programs such as the health and safety and environment management systems training programs, and that focuses on developing competencies of small and medium-sized enterprises in Uganda so that they're able to have a registration on the ISO standards. So they can get ISO certification and boost their competence and capacity in that regard. Other training programs that fall in line with that, on the skills, we have the heavy equipment, and that mainly focuses on developing capacities and developing skills so that people, so that our beneficiaries or training beneficiaries can safely and competently operate the civil works or civil constructions equipment like the excavators, the diggers, the bulldozers, and those are some of the equipment we're using very much in the development phase, the oil fields. Lifting operations, we also have that training program where beneficiaries are trained to competently and safely operate lifting equipment like mobile cranes, telehandlers, and those are some of the equipment or some of the services that we rely on in the development phase and also in the, of the oil and gas industry, and also in the production phase of the infrastructure that we have at Kingfisher and also in Kilenga oil fields. We have other training programs that now focus mainly on the SMEs, and this is one of them, like the Enterprise Development Program, the Community Supplier Development Program. We also have, I mentioned earlier, the HSE management systems, integrated management systems training program, and this focus on mainly cultivating the competency of small and medium-sized enterprises. On top of that, we have the knowledge and technology transfer program, where we partner with universities. We do take interns to give them industry training. They get hands-on experience for exposure for working in the oil field, working in oil company, and we boost their knowledge so that they get exposed to what is expected or what are the deliverables that we have in the oil industry. So we have several programs, but I want to focus on the enterprise development training that we have. So over the years, we've been conducting these enterprise, and what we do, we have so we do promote the participation for Ugandan companies in the oil and gas sector. But over the years, we have noticed that yes, Ugandan companies, Ugandan institutions, yes, we do want to participate, but there are some gaps in knowledge, some gaps and skills that are required to safely, beneficially, and effectively participate in the oil and gas, so that the gap of participation between the oil companies and the institutions like NOC and the oil as well as the small and medium-sized companies. So we try as much as possible to close that gap, so that if we raise the expectations or we raise the stakes or raise the standards of our local companies and SMEs, so that they can meet our expectations. And our expectations are usually international best practice, international best practice. And so that gap is what we try to address here today. We find mainly the gaps fall within this category. In the procurement, sometimes we find that SMEs are not very confident or not very competent in preparing winning bids. Okay, we have a stringent procurement, stringent and yet it's fair, and it is also very transparent procurement process. So we find that some Ugandan companies, yes, they might be able to provide the services or provide the goods. However, when they prepare the bids and submit the bids, we find there's a lot of stuff that is lacking. And these things, they appear minor, and yet they are very, very crucial. So we want to share with you knowledge what we expect when we actually do propose or prepare and submit bids, what we expect, and what should be done. We see gaps in health and safety propositions. We see gaps in branding and marketing. So many companies do not know how to market and how to brand and how to present themselves to other customers. Financial literacy and financial management. We see that some companies, some Ugandan companies, when we contract them, we give them a contract, and sometimes we even give them an advance payment, but they somehow don't really know how to manage the cash flow, and then they run out of money. They're not able to acquire financing, through the commercial means, and then we find that they're not able to deliver the milestones in the time frame that is contracted, and then we start having challenges. Okay, so we don't have that financial management aspect also talk about this training program. Other things like organizational management. We find in some organizations, the director is the accountant, is the lawyer, is pretty much everything. And if he goes away to falls sick or they're unable to appear at work, that's it. The whole organization can't go on, the contract cannot be delivered. And so these are some of the issues that we want to highlight and increase or improve the confidence of the companies. And this could happen both. Now, this training program is not limited. This is why we're having it on multiple major platforms. If you can, please share the link. Let's get a lot of companies to participate in this. It is for the benefit of all our organizations, for the benefit of the oil and gas sector. And certainly, it helps us as sponsors, that we see we want to be able to get more Ugandan companies to participate beneficially, not just participate in the oil and gas sector, but we want them to participate beneficially, effectively. So they deliver to the standard that we expect, and they can also have some value that we can bring into the organization and the economy.
Mr. Eric, thank you for really telling us what is going to happen throughout the week. But I have a question. I remember when you were starting, you told us about the physical engagement that was had in Hoima last year. I don't really know, what is the criteria that you use to choose the audience for that physical engagement? And we have very many viewers out there who would wish to participate in the physical engagement. How will you select those that will attend the physical engagement? Is it for only those that are in Hoima, or there is a process that someone has to go through to participate in the physical engagement?
Thank you for that question, and this is very key. Now, though we do hold the physical engagement in Hoima, it is not restricted. There is a link where you register from, you indicate to us that you want to participate in the physical training program. And the companies that indicate are the companies that are contacted and invited to the training venue on the day of the physical training. Now, why is it very important to attend this physical training? Because you see, when we deliver these training programs, okay, our target is, first of all, to have more or to register more Ugandan suppliers or Ugandan companies that can provide services to us as SINOP and also to our contractors in Kingfisher. We have several contractors in Kingfisher that are also benefiting from this, because when we cultivate these companies, we train them, all right, they're not able to provide services to Sinop or provide goods and services to us. They can provide goods and services to Kingfisher Oilfield Development Project through our contractors. Okay, so now the companies that do appear on the physical training engagement, they are registered and certified. Okay, they get certificates, they've attended the online enterprise development program, okay, and we register them, and we have them registered on our database, and we share our database with our contractors. Look, here are these companies that have gone through this program. So basically, when you attend the physical training program, it puts you on the edge, increases your edge, your visibility with the significant and the entire Kingfisher project. So that when you come to eventually participate, that gives you an advantage. When you pre-qualify, you say, oh, this company has actually attended the training program. So we won't suffer with it, because now it knows what we expect. This company or this individual or this entity knows what we expect in the oil and gas industry. They've got the knowledge, they've been trained, they've been certified. So, we are on it's a safer place to work with that rather than any company out there that you can be on our database. And we also help out to register on the national supplier database, because we as we operate, we are required by the law to work with companies that are registered on the national supplier database. So as part of this training program, we will also help you, show you how, and also if necessary, if need be, we can help you out to register on the national supplier database that is hosted by the program.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eric. And maybe lastly, since you are here and you are the manager of national content at SINOP, how is that department performing? Are Ugandans really benefiting from SINOP?
Thank you for that question. Yes, Ugandans are benefiting from working with SINOP. I can tell you that so far, since the development program started, since the 5-year since the development of the Kingfisher oilfield project in 2022, we have awarded over $290 million value of contracts to Ugandan companies. Right? Now, those are contracts that have gone to Ugandan companies, and Ugandan companies are receiving this money and they're delivering. You see, these upstream oil and gas projects, they are billions of dollars. Right? We are injecting $4 billion into the development of the upstream sector, upstream facilities. Right. So if Ugandan companies so far taken only 290, there's still a lot more that is available to Ugandan companies. All right. So, and this is why we need the Ugandan companies now to be ready. In this phase of development phase and also in the production phase. As part of this training program, we will also let you know what is coming in the operation phase, what we expect from the company in the operation phase. So you'll get to know how, especially on the physical training program, where on the physical session, where I'll be directly present, and you can ask me questions, and I'll be able to answer questions about what's coming in the operation phase, what we expect, and what we should expect.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for those insights. All our viewers out there, as Mr. Eric has said, we should wait for him during that physical engagement so that he really answers most of our questions. I know you have very many questions when it comes to national content. Though some of you have testimonies when it comes to national content, very many of you out there are beneficiaries who have really benefited from the work that SINOC is doing out there in the Albertine. I think I will say I'm also one of the beneficiaries, and I remember when I was in Hoima for the physical engagement last year, I got very many testimonies. People were testifying, and all of them were like, we are really beneficiaries, and we at least earn something from the works that we do with SINOC Uganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Eric, the National Content Manager at SINOC, and we will be continuing with our engagement As I told you, today we will be having Mr. Robert Senoga here. For those that remember, in our previous sessions last year, we had Mr. Eric. We had Mr. Robert telling us quite a lot about compliance, taxation, air freeze, and this time round he has come with very, very, very fresh topics that are very exciting. So everyone out there, just get ready to learn from Mr. Robert. So just share the link. I want everyone to benefit from this engagement. Remember, this engagement is sponsored by CNOC Uganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we will go for a very short break. Then we will come in with Mr. Robert.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. CNOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to CNOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
CNOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I'd always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and CNOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
CNOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
CNOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. SINOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
SINOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher Oilfields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after SINOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. SINOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. SINOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. SINOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. SINOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to SINOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oilfields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
SINOC sponsors international scholarship.
Oilfields for your commitment to vulnerable children.
SINOC sponsors international scholarships. A total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I'd always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and SINOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
SINOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
SINOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. SINOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats. carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. SINOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
SINOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher Oilfields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after SINOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. SINOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. SINOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. SINOC collaborates with various Ugandan
we remember in the conversation we had everyone out there, our viewers out there on Facebook, our viewers on X, our viewers on YouTube, just get note down whatever will be done. Right here with us is Robert Senoga, and will be with us and this time here with financial management. So our viewers out there, just get ready. Also, you are welcome, Mr. Robert. Welcome again for this session. And you can maybe introduce yourself. I give you 1 minute. Introduce yourself and begin immediately.
Thank you so much. My name is I work with this service for better associates. So I've been so much. We are going to go straight to our first topic, that is financial management. This first day, as I have been told, we are going to do financial management, filing returns, the proposed tax changes and their impact, and finally business auditing. So we go to financial management. So what is financial management? Just like anything, this is a process of planning. This is where budgets come in and all that. Organizing, this can be through staffing, human resources, human resourcing, that is organizing. Then controlling, this is where a process like auditing comes in. Monitoring, so auditing comes in, and also as managers, you have to be monitoring your financial resources. So basically, that is what financial management is all about. It's simply a process, just like any other process. It has steps. So it is an interconnection of the activities of planning, organizing, and monitoring. So why is financial management important? Just like the theme is enterprise development. So financial planning is a key pillar if it comes to enterprise development. So if you don't have properly structured financial management, you're just wasting time. So what are the objectives of financial management? One is to ensure adequate funding. This is where you come in and know how much funds you need to start up the business. After starting up, how much funds are needed to run the business. So this is a key principle because it helps to ensure that the adequate funds are available at the company's source. And it is through this activity that you can know, I can't handle such a project. I'll need assistance from other companies. So that is why financial management is really important. Then 2 is maximizing returns on investment. So if you do proper financial planning, you can easily maximize returns on investments because you can know the costs that are needed and which benefits you will get from your investment. Then we have cost control and management. So financial management helps us to control costs, and costs being outlets of our income streams. These have to be properly managed to ensure that as a business you are in control and in position to continue. So what is the role of managers in financial planning? The major role is aligning departmental decisions with financial goals. So in financial management, you have to know that you have to align departmental goals. If you have various departments like HR, before you recruit, are there resources to fund? Before production tells you to get a new equipment, do you have the capacity to maintain it? Because we've seen it when a company buys equipment and then it goes down. So those are all that is a major role for finance managers. Then another role, monitor spending and incomes to ensure that you get enough to spend. Yeah, what is the importance of financial management to non-financial managers? Understand how your role impacts the organization finances. So the importance of financial management is to help you understand what you decide affects the entire organization. It helps to effectively communicate with finance teams. So financial management helps you to communicate effectively with financial teams. So we expect after attending this session, you will now go as an authority to the finance team, highlighting what you need and where they need to change. Then financial management helps to interpret financial data to support decision making. And then it justifies departmental needs and budgets. So if you have knowledge of financial management, you can easily interpret those budgets and you know what is properly needed of them. So financial management is a key ingredient in developing enterprises. Then we shall go to the key finance statements. One of the major financial statements is the income statement, or statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income depending on the size of the business. So what does it do? It shows you your revenues, expenses, and net profits or losses over a period. So basically, this is a statement that shows you the revenues for a certain period. So this statement collects all revenues and expenses for 12 months or a year. So this statement shows you your income and expenditure. So it is a key statement because it can help you judge to see if you are making profits or losses. So the statement usually highlights your revenue, expenses, then revenue minus expenses, you can either get a loss, that is if you overspend, or a profit, your revenues exceed expenses. So as I'm telling you, this statement has revenues, cost of goods sold, gross profit, net profit, and all that. So basically, this shows you it is a performance. It shows you how you perform against your time. So that is the statement of profit or loss. So if you go back, you ask your accountant, can you please show me the statement of profit or loss? And we recommend for budgeting purposes, this has to be reviewed at least every month or once a month. When the month ends, you have to task your accountant to show you your revenue versus expenses, so that you can know on time, we are really not performing or something needs to be done to make sure the business is online. Then we have the other statement is the balance sheet or statement of financial position. So the prior statement was showing you the performance of a certain period, let's say 12 months, but the financial position, this shows you how you stand. What is the health of the company? So this is why it's called a financial position. It shows you where you stand as a company, like what is your net worth? How much profit have you made over a period of time? What is the share capital? Which assets do you have? How much do you have in current assets? How much do you have in fixed assets? If you borrow money, how much do you have as liability? So all this statement shows you that position. So for it, it is as at a given date. That is why you see some displays as at 30th June or by December. So basically, this shows you, it will show you bank balances, your assets, less any depreciation. So it really shows you your position. What is your worth? How much you have? Maybe for simple understanding, this will show how much balance you have in your pocket. So this is the importance of this statement. Then the third statement is cash flow. Cash flow statement. Remember, accountants have been accused of not showing the real picture of the business, but now this cash flow comes in. This shows just the movement of cash. How much cash do I have at hand? How much cash I've spent? Because remember in accounting, we normally use accrual. So in accruals, we also have non-cash expenses. So here, the cash flow statement shows you how much cash, how cash has moved. Yeah, do up there. Then there is an important concept I feel that is important I talk about. That is profit versus cash. As I've been saying, remember, profits are not the same as cash. So you find some people after you've presented to them their statement of their profit and loss, they tell you, but I don't have that cash in my bank account. What do you mean that I made this money? So it's better you understand what they own what and profit from that. Profit is not the same as cash. So this cash flow tries to reconcile the profit to weed out what is non-cash and what is cash. So profits are not cash. So remember, profit is recorded when earned, and cash flow is tracked when money changes. And so from the tip of everything, remember, profits are recognized as earned. So not when cash versus earned. So that reconciliation we find it very important. Then another point I would like to note in financial management is budget. No company can survive without a budget. So if you don't have a budget, you don't do it, then you go back and make a budget. So a budget is as simple as it is a financial plan explained in income and expenses. So minus that plan, there is nothing. So it is important you have to go and make those estimates of whatever you expect to get and what you expect to pay. Other than that, you're bound to make irrelevant decisions if you don't have that plan. It is a document that shows you how much you will be getting over a period of time you can do maybe 12 months, 5 years, 2 years, maybe. So this budget is too important. That document shows you how much you expect to earn and how much you expect to spend over a period of time. It is important. It can be an operational budget which shows you how much you expect to use in your operations and how much you expect to earn. Or it can be a capital budget or capital investment budget. So this entirely shows you how much you expect to spend as an organization. Then we have under basic management again. A manager has various roles, such as prepare and support budget. So as a manager, you have to sit with your team and prepare budget that will make the business survive. Then you have to monitor aspect of it. So minus this aspect, your budget is really bad. As I told you, as a best practice, I expect you to have a income and expense budget once a month. So minus the monitoring your output versus budget, you are having challenges. So it is better and recommended that you do your actual versus budget, because here you can easily know where you're going as a company, and you can make decisions that can save the company, such as maybe cutting costs, improving on the technology, so that what you budget for is realized. Then, as a manager, you have to analyze variance. How do you do this? That budget, actual versus budget, you have to talk to your accountant to explain why is the actual too low versus what is budgeted, or why are we overspending on the budget. So they have to be the reason. So we recommend maybe if you can't do it monthly, maybe quarterly, you have to speak with your accountant. Then they take you through how you're performing and the business. So that's also important and a very, very, very big step in financial management. Then you can't make a budget, you don't have proper forecasting skills. What is forecasting? Explain future financial outcomes based on historical data or trends. What do we mean? If you remember the days of COVID, many companies faced problems via forecasting because they had forecasted on a normal accounting year. But now here the year came up, lockdown and all that. So you have to also, other than looking at historical data, you have to also look at what are the trends taking place in the country or region. For example, now we are going in the election year. All those have to be factored in as you are budgeting. So, so forecasts are important. Why do they matter? They support proactive planning. So you can't plan if you don't have forecasting skills. You have to look at historical data, then and trends, so that you can come up with proper and useful budgets. Then forecasting helps us to manage risks. For example, what is happening in Ukraine? What if your company there in the first year? Did you plan for such risks and how to mitigate them? So forecasting helps us come up with that. Then another big and important ingredient in financial management is cost control. You have to control costs. That is the direct versus the indirect costs. What do we mean here? You have to have a breakdown of your expenses. If you know how the company operates, you have to have that these are direct expenses, these are indirect expenses. For example, if the company and you are renting premises, rented premises become direct costs, and this we don't expect these expenses to change over a period of time. So, as you're budgeting, you have to be very careful which costs are direct and which costs are indirect. So for direct costs, you have to do a thorough analysis of will I be in position to put this expense over a given period of 12 months or I can't, I'm just over ambitious. So direct costs are what we call fixed costs. These are to happen without changes for a certain period of time. Then you have what we call indirect expenses. So indirect expenses, this change by the level of activity you have in the organization. Then you have fixed versus variable costs, or these are somehow similar like those ones. So fixed costs, these ones don't change. Variable costs, this change with production, and these are more relevant to manufacturing entities. So cost control is too important. Those are the tips I suggested that will guide you. You have to monitor then regularly, or expenses on a regular basis. As I've been telling you, you have to monitor your business on a regular basis so that you can make decisions on time. Then it helps you, you have to identify inefficiencies so that you can improve on your technology and how you operate. Then you have to engage in cost-saving initiatives. Remember, previous videos, we had what we call cost cutting. Now, we no longer use that term because people, that strategy affected businesses too much. So we now use cost-saving initiatives or rationalizing. So you don't just cost cut, you have to sit down, analyze, and come up with cost-saving initiatives. Remember, as a business person, your goal is not to overspend. So as a manager, you should know, after knowing the budget, cost control and all that, you have to know that you have to be in position to do a very simple analysis of how things are moving. So I propose those ratios such as gross profit margin. So gross profit margin. So this measure your profitability. How much does your revenue return on gross profit margin? Then we have what we call net profit margin. How much you earn per unit of. So these ratios are important. Then you have current ratio. This kind of ratio measures the volume of current liabilities over current assets over current liabilities. How much do I borrow on my current assets? Then you have debt to equity ratio. That is when you're going to borrow. This ratio is really important. Don't borrow money you won't pay by not looking at those ratios. Then if you are borrowing to invest in a new company or investment, you have to also know the return on investment. How much am I getting out of this investment I have made? So this return on investment is also a very, very important ratio. So ratios help in as benchmarks and beefing up financial health of organizations. Then we have what we call financial decision making. The keyword here is financial decision making. So you have to analyze cost-benefit initiatives. After analyzing those initiatives, you have to understand the cash implementation before committing any resources. You have to know the outcome, not just implementing things finance, looking at the outcome of your initiative. Then you have to monitor performance against budget. This again comes in. This is a very important decision. Then you have to consider long-term impact, not just short-term impact. So you can make an investment that will yield you returns after 5 years. That is okay, but you have to balance. You have to balance. Thank you so much. What I left out is financial management nowadays. It is a key ingredient that you have to have a good financial accounting system. You have to think of getting a software so that monitoring becomes really, really easy. Thank you so much. I will entertain questions from the audience.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Senoga, for giving us insights into financial management. But I know our viewers out there are really following and they are learning. I just ask you that you continue sharing. Share the link so that everyone is a beneficiary, so that everyone learns from what Mr. Senoga is trying to teach. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we shall just continue. We shall just continue with the next topic, then we shall have our questions at once. Just keep sending in your questions. Send in your questions, we will receive them, and Mr. Senoga will respond to all of them at once. So, Mr. Senoga, we can go to the other topic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then again, tax comes in filing returns. Yeah, filing returns. So, what is the return? A return, a tax return. A tax return is just a summary of information that you gather, and you need to inform URA about its existence. So we have a voluntary tax system where you have to compile data and then you submit to URA. So what is the tax return? So are you a registered taxpayer, an individual or a company in Uganda? Be it a fast food restaurant, be it what, you have to file returns. We have different types of returns. So we have different types of returns. So if you're operating any business in Uganda or you are a Ugandan, you have to file returns. So basically, a tax return is that summary of that information. Then tax return filing. This is a process. Again, finance is more built up on processes. So this is also a process. By a process, we mean it is a step approach, not just waking up and you gather any information that you feel fit, then you file. No, it is a process where you register. The word register is key. You have to first register before you come in and file return. A registered taxpayer periodically declares his or her income. You are indicating how much they have transacted during a given period of time. Okay, so the key issue here is we have to understand that this is a process. So you have to treat it as a process. So information has to be gathered over a period of time. For monthly returns, such as VAT, PAYE, and etc., that information is gathered over a period of a month. So where our people get it wrong is taking this as an activity. No, this is a process. And you have to be careful while gathering information. That is why you should come up with financial planning. A thorough plan has to be there to ensure that you gather proper and accurate information. So it is not an event that happens over a short period of time as some people really think of it. Some just wake up when the deadline is maybe 15th, they come up on a 14th, then they just file any information. That is why now URA comes back with assessment. So we have to first understand this is a process that is guided by technology, the human resources. You have to make sure that the people you have really understand the implication of what they are doing. So this process has to be thoroughly taken care of, and this begins with the type of documents you have and the information you have. So if you have the right information, you have the right people, you will never get any problems with the taxman. So filing income tax return, I wanted you to know this is a process. And whose obligation is it? All registered taxpayers are required to file timely and accurate returns and pay their duties and pay their dues on time. So here, you can be an individual and you have more than one source of income. You are under obligation to file returns. So here you find as someone just files for the company, but their individual returns are lacking. So these all registered taxpayers have to file. So if you're an employee, you also have a right to ask your employer, have you been filing my return or no? Okay. So have you ever received a notification from URL reminding you to file your return? If yes, that means your tax filing abilities have issues. You don't need to be reminded. You have to know the deadline and when filing is due. So, yeah, that is filing. File your income tax return by certain dates that you owe so you have to file your returns if it is paid by the 15th, withholding tax returns by the 15th, income tax by the 30th of December if your year end is June, or by 30th June if your year end is December. So that is important. When to file returns? For provisional returns, they must be filed by the end of the first 6 months for non-individuals or by the 3rd month for individuals. And amendments can be filed not later than the last day of the financial year. So for provisional tax returns, these ones, you can file them before the first 6 months, or if you have to do amendments, make sure you do it before the final year. Other than that, you will get penalties for no good reason. Because when your provisional exceeds your final income tax, there are penalties. So you have to gauge and see how much needs to be filed. That is now where the financial management comes in and those budgets. Because with the budget, you can know how much I'm expecting to get as profit. And when you see it increase, you have to come and amend your tax returns. Then final returns, they have to be filed in the first 6 months at the end of the period. Then we have monthly returns. These are filed by the 15th of the following month. So these are VAT, payee, withholding tax, local exercise duty, among others. Then for people, we have people who file weekly returns. These have to be filed by Wednesday of the following week, such as people in gaming business. So you have to know the most important part for income tax filing. You have to know which return I'm filing and what is the deadline for filing those returns. So what are the benefits of filing returns? Allows the taxpayer to evaluate their business using data from their digital operation. Taxpayers who file returns are in charge of their business. They are responsible, and they can drive their survey, their profit follows. So this benefits the taxman and as well as yourself. So you have to properly assess and file your tax returns to avoid penalties and any other compliance issues. I think many of business owners are now aware, like big companies will always ask you for tax clearance certificates. So you can easily miss out on your tax clearance because of non-compliance with something as simple as tax return filing. Then tax compliance is crucial for companies which want to participate in contracting, in contract bidding, as you know, any supplier with CNOC or any company, oil and gas. This you have to be aware. Then it helps you avoid fines and penalties. So if you have your tax, if you go to your team, you ask your accountant to take you through the tax ledger. This is where hidden taxes are always. So here you have to go to your tax ledger. Then the tax ledger details how much is being demanded from you and how much you need to do to clear your balances.
I thank you, Mr. Robert. I think these first two sessions have been, the first two topics have been so engaging, and I like the fact that we have so many viewers out there who are really watching us via YouTube, those that are watching us via Facebook, those that are watching us via X, and they're really getting very good insights from the topics. Remember, we started with financial management, and now Mr. Senoga has been teaching us about failing taxes. So I have a few questions here that some people want some clarifications on, especially when it comes to the first session where you talked about financial management. Someone was asking that what is the difference between capital expenditure and operation expenditure. I don't know whether I can ask all of them at once and then you respond. Okay. What is the difference between capital expenditure and operation expenditure?
Thank you so much for that question. Capital expenditure, in terms you are injecting capital. So it's more of an investment expenditure. For example, if you buy machinery, that is capital expenditure. You buy a vehicle, that is capital expenditure. You start up a new plant or a business, that is capital expenditure. So expenditure, from which you expect to get benefit over a period of 12 months. Then operating expenditure is the one that runs the business. So another difference is operating expenditure appears in the profit and loss, while the capital expenditure is capitalized. It is pushed to the balance sheet. So that is those are the major.
Okay, now another question here is someone is asking, how do internal controls support sound financial management?
Yeah, internal controls, like as you see law, minus law, you've not done any crime. Okay? Yeah. So one of the ingredients of financial management is coming up with internal controls. Like this is that's why when you're driving a car, there are sign posts along the roads. Don't stand here, don't do this here, reduce your speed, 50 kilometers like that. So internal controls is setting up those speed limits via your financial management processes. For example, the simplest one can be managing cash. Okay. Yeah. So you might put up a policy at the company that we don't receive any cash at the company premises. All cash that is received is banked intact. So internal controls, and from internal controls you can hold people accountable. That you didn't do this as it is stated in our internal control policies, manuals, or how we do activities. So it is also important to come up with properly designed. Designing is one, but also implementing those internal controls. Make sure that those internal controls work. So basically, that is the internal controls, and it's a very big ingredient in financial management.
Then there is another question here about financial management still. Someone is saying, how can poor financial management impact the long-term sustainability of an organization? This is Desire Amanya.
Thank you, Desire. To cut it short and make it understandable to the recent graduates, a financial planning is a Google map.
Okay.
Minus it, you can't reach where you're going, because it has ingredients such as budgets, which are key ingredients in financial management, things like cost control, they talked of internal controls. So all that plan, it has to be properly structured and followed, so that you don't go off the road. Other than that, there are going to be issues with your business, because you can be overspending minus knowing, like if you go to a supermarket to do shopping, minus a list. We are lucky here in the country. Most of us, our cloth is how much we have in the pockets. Other than if they introduce things like credit cards, you might find people shopping as much as they can. So this guide helps you to navigate the financial cycle, both in the long run, as you asked about capital expenditures, and also in the short run via operational expenditures and strategies.
Okay, I think one more last question when it comes to financial management. And someone is asking, how should an organization develop its financial management policies? And then he adds that what strategies can be used to improve financial transparency and accountability.
Thank you so much. Maybe it had two parts, but let me start with the last one.
About financial accountability and transparency.
Putting in place strong internal controls, inviting external parties to audit your accounts, and also engaging consultants. That is what I believe can be the solution to that. Then the first part.
The first part was how should an organization develop its financial management policies?
Yeah, so here we have a tendency of a one-size-fits-all, which I don't encourage any business to do. So you have to sit. I recommend teamwork. So you have to sit as an organization, then come up with strategies on how you're going to manage your finances, like how much is needed to, how much expenditure is going to be incurred, and how much revenue is going to be and into or come into the organization. So financial strategies are set that the winning one, not just copy and paste.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Senoga. Then when it comes to filing taxes, someone had a question here. Majezi Chirinju, thanks for following. We see you. What is the deadline for filing tax returns, and what happens if you miss it?
There are different deadlines for different taxes. What SMEs are familiar with is income tax return. So this one, if your year end is June, it has to be filed by 31st December of that year, both final and provisional. That's you file and pay. Then if you have pay, that is 15. VAT, that is 15. Withholding tax, that is 15. If you're in gaming, the betting companies and all that, theirs is every Thursday of the week.
So every Thursday of the week, someone has to go and file taxes.
Yes, for gaming companies.
Okay.
Yes. So it all depends on which taxes are we talking about here.
So what happens if you miss it?
You're penalized.
And what are the penalties?
The assessments and all that. So these are really depend. They are set. Yeah, but you're penalized, and when you delay, you have to pay interest on the principal tax. Yeah, so there are always penalties for non-compliance. So that's why I encourage. By the way, for me, yes, I consider returns as very important, but the process where the returns passes, for me, it is what is key. That's why I think if we intermarry financial planning for the goal of filing returns, we should not be having any problems with the tax man.
Okay. So what you mean is like every business files taxes, or it's only registered businesses that file taxes? Only those that are registered with URA?
Yeah, registered businesses. And I don't think now they can even give you an operating license minus a T.
Okay.
You ask any person with a business, they can't give you any license now without a T because they put it on your team. So any business that has an operating license is eligible for filing.
Now, like for example, what do they depend on to charge you? Like the returns that you're supposed to file. What if you're not making business? What if you don't have clients? You know?
Yeah. So if that is the case, you have to file, you have to show the tax man. And that's what I'm not making. I'm not making money. This is what I submit. But now the problem is people wait. So the tax man comes when he's hungry with you, then he slaps you assessments and all that. So you have to declare. Self-declaration is key. We are not saying that filing, you see, filing returns is different from paying. Filing returns, even if you're making losses, you're fine.
Yeah.
So the issue here now is filing returns. So you find people sitting out, they're not working, you already can't say this stuff, even if you're not working, declare. And also, just like people were understanding, we have a window of presumptive tax returns. If you're making below 150, you don't need to trouble with these normal returns. That is if you're not a professional. If you're a professional, the presumptive tax regime doesn't work on. But if you're not a professional and you're making below 150 million, file a presumptive tax return.
Presumptive.
Yeah, presumptive. So it ranges from 80 to around 90, 960, depending on the bracket.
Okay. So
don't mix filing return
and
paying.
You're
You're making losses, yes. Be frank, because your neighbor will not know that you're making losses. Just be right now and have evidence.
So can't this taxman do some investigations, like especially if you under-declare what you really earn?
Yeah, under-declaring is not allowed. Yeah, you have to be...
Is there a mechanism that they use to know, or you just have to be a good citizen?
There is a mechanism, especially they use industrial averages. And this is what is killing people in Uganda. So we find, like the industrial average for consultants, at least 40% has to be profits. Therefore you come and declare that I've made only profits of just 5%. So they have mechanisms. They know how business is. That is why you see they bring in those assessments. They know, of course they know, because everyone on the building has declared the profit. Why? Yet you are selling the same commodity. So it is like you have your own mechanism, you report whatever is needed, then you have your evidence. Then you can engage a tax consultant or someone. Even yourself, if you have your evidence, you can argue of these cases. Our only problem is non-documenting. Other than that, you can really win anything.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, as you heard from Mr. Robert, you have to file returns. if you want our country to develop, if you want also your business to be successful, always declare what you earn, always declare what you get. You know, very many of you out there under declare, some of you don't declare what you get, but you know, to be compliant and avoiding issues when it comes to running battles with the taxman, please file your returns, and as you've heard, filing returns is different from paying returns. So it's better you go and file the returns to avoid any issues. So those were some of the questions, and we will go for a short break, and we will be coming back with the rest of the topics. So I urge you to just go there, share the link, share the link, share the link, share the link, so that everyone else benefits and make sure that their businesses just go on very well. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go for a short break. We will come back later.
Have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in a Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend the night, then early morning would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying, yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after Sinnock Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. Sinnock will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. Sinnock has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. Sinnock collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. Sinnock, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to Sinnock Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
Sinnock sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and Sinnock has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Sinnock focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. the company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
SINOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. SINOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. SINOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
SINOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after SINOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. SINOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. SINOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. SINOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. SINOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to SINOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher oil fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
SINOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and SINOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
SINOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
SINOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. SINOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. SINOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
SINOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after SINOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23 coring. Other noticeable a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. SINOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. SINOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind.
Welcome back, our viewers. Thanks for viewing, thanks for following, thanks for sharing. I remember we are live on our YouTube channel. We are live our X handle at Vectra Energy, and we are live on Facebook, so you can follow us from any of those platforms. I remember it is the SINOC Online Enterprise Development Program 2025. Back to our about I think a lot has been told. Mr. Robert has told you about return. Why you need to return? That they call filing return and something that they call paying return. He said that you can as well file the return and wait to pay the returns, and you can pay the returns like that. So, and when he was talking about financial management, he took you through how to manage finances, the mechanism of managing finances in your businesses, and quite a lot that he taught us about. So right now, in this session, he will be teaching us about the new tax amendments there are very many amendments that are there. And these new tax amendments might be so good for you, they might be so good for your business, for you as an individual. So let's wait and hear from him. So we welcome you back, Mr. Robert. We are ready, me and very many others out there are just waiting to hear from you and know the new tax amendment.
So, every year, Parliament passes tax amendments. So, the tax laws are so dynamic, they change every year. So, depending on the objective and fiscal policy objectives they want to meet, so that is where this tax amendment comes from. So we have many tax acts, one of them being the Tax Procedures Act, Income Tax Act, VAT Act, Exercise Duty Act. So all those rarely they have to change something in all of them. So the procedures act, this handles administration of tax. So all issues to deal with tax administration, when who files, what do you need to file in the tax procedures. So in 2025, as usual, they proposed the following amendments under the Tax Procedures Act, and if passed, there is going to be a change for individuals to be using NIN numbers, and for businesses, that begins with 8. It is what we are going to use as TIN numbers. So BRN numbers for companies and NIN numbers are the ones that are going to replace TINs. Are we together? So the implication is simplified tax registration and enhancing taxpayer database and integrity. So you find some people
oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in a Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend a night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying, yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in a Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving.
What does it mean? You should have your numbers ready and register your businesses. So this is an amendment encouraging people to register businesses. So by July, come July, this is passed as an amendment. You should know that no more using teams. You'll be using BR numbers and NIN numbers. NIN numbers for individuals, BR numbers for companies. Then to other tax procedures act. Other tax procedures act. For people in gaming business, majority of BR is centralized system to monitor gaming revenue. So ITP slide is coming up for the people in gaming for gaming companies. So majority is centralized system international. So activities are going to be synchronized international as one for all other businesses. Okay? Then, third Tax Procedures Act, they are proposing to waive penalties. So, penalties are going to be waived for accrued interest as at 30th June 2023. So, if you pay by 30th June 2026, they will waive off of the interest and penalties. What does it? The implications are what you will only be liable to pay would be the principal tax, and the interest, like as it has always been, is going to be. So the implication is it will encourage voluntary settlement of tax area. So this is what government is looking up to, and this was section 66A of the Tax Procedures Act that has been amended. So for the Tax Procedures Act, there are three important amendments I thought are good to share with you. One, using of NIN numbers for gaming to have an interest-like platform. Then tax waivers for any interest below June 2023. Then there are amendments in the income tax. And the most important one is they are proposing a 3-year tax exemption for local startups. Local startups are going to be exempted for 3 years. So, but for you to be exempted, you have to have proper books of accounts. That is why I thought it was important. I take you through financial management in the first place. So you should have proper books of accounts, file this, and for the first 3 years, you are not going to be paying tax. And I think this is a very, very good and insightful policy for business startups, because tax is also one of the things that has been stopping people from starting business. Then as a usual one, Bujagali, they are proposing an extension of up to June 2023 when they are not paying taxes. Then 3, there is exemption for international atomic agents. So if your organization is international atomic agents, you won't be taxed. You will not be paying tax as per the recent tax amendment. Then for VAT, they are proposing the following changes. Ant-fumigation rule, ant-fragmentation rule. Importers must combine consignments value over 7 days VAT threshold checks. So this business of breaking down the imports, it is going to stop. They are proposing bundling them up so that they can know what volume you brought in, and then you to check your VAT threshold. So you find that many people are going to be registered for VAT at that point of entry because of this amendment. VAT exemption for renewable energy products. So biomass pellets and solar lanterns are now going to be exempt. Then aircraft supply, it will be 0 exempt. Then for stamp duty, recently agreements were charged with a certain tax. Upon signing an agreement, I know that there was a certain tax, but government has seen it as maybe impending businesses, so they are thinking of removing those taxes. So those are the key tax amendments I found important to share with you. So if there are any questions, because I find recent tax amendments important because of their implication to the taxman.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. I don't really know whether we can get the questions now or we go to the next topic, then we have the questions. Yeah, let's go to the next topic so that we can have the questions at once.
Yeah, in the same way you can't talk about financial management minus talking about business, minus talking about auditing. So the check for your financial management is auditing. Kindly note, auditing is also a process. This business of looking for auditors for stamps, that doesn't benefit any organization. You should handle it as a process, as I'm going to take you through, so that you can get benefits out of auditing. So what is auditing? Auditing is an examination which should be independent of financial statements and records to ensure accuracy of financial statements. So auditing is a process that involves an independent person to come up and look at your records. Okay? And independence is both in mind and appearance. Okay? You will not come and audit your brother and you tell us you are independent in mind. Yes, you can be independent in mind, but in appearance, no one will believe you. So as a consultant, I encourage fellow businessmen listening to me to ensure that they get independent persons. Otherwise, the reason as to why this activity was designed is going to be lost. Okay? So why do we do auditing? Number one is to ensure accuracy. Yeah, just like what URA emphasized now, if your revenue is above 500 million, you are under obligation to invite an external auditor to stamp on your books of accounts. Why? To ensure that there is accuracy in whatever you've given them as tax records in your tax return. Okay? Auditing ensures reliability to make sure those numbers are properly relied upon when making decisions. Remember, your financial records speak a lot about who you are. Then, auditing detects fraud, helps us to detect fraud. Then, someone was asking about controls. So it's the role of an auditor to assess internal controls, evaluate their effectiveness, and give suggestions thereon. So if you don't do the right audit and pass through the right audit process, you will miss all these advantages that have been properly researched and brought on board. Then, ensures compliance. One of the major reasons why we do auditing is to ensure compliance. Compliance with what? With the tax laws and any other laws in the country. So auditors have very recent information and they can advise you on where you should improve as a business. So minus doing a good audit, you are leaving out all those advantages. Then what are the key components of an auditing compliance framework? One, someone was preempting my slides. Someone asked about policies and procedures. So a key framework should have policies and procedures because they are a starting point of questioning people available. That because what auditors do, they look at your policies and come up with weaknesses. So it is important you have policies and procedures in place. They cannot be they might be simple or detailed depending, but there has to be something. We recommend like a 10-pager if it's a small company, that those 10 pages will really highlight important documents. Then another key ingredient is risk assessment. Compliance starts with, risks. So the risk assessment is a key ingredient. So here you assess all the available risks. Then you put up mechanisms to prevent them and chew whatever you can prevent, and you find it is important. So risk assessment is key when it comes to compliance framework. Then training and awareness, just trainings like this that SINOC thought of. So if you are not trained, you don't know the trends that are happening, you don't know the standard operating procedures, so it is really, really important that you keep on training and upskilling your people. So after getting trainings like this, inform people on what you need to do. So training is key. Then you have risk monitoring and reporting. So the other assessment that you do, you have to put in place risk monitoring and reporting about the same risks. Then internal controls. Yeah, so I'll drill more now on internal controls. We have what we call preventive internal controls. These are put in place to ensure that eventualities don't happen, such as access controls and segregation of duties. Remember, it's not recommended to have one person do all the activities. Then we have detective controls, measures to identify non-compliance, such as audits and reconciliations. Like these are put to deter, to identify compliance. Then we have corrective controls. These are, as the word, these are measures to correct identified issues. Okay, so internal control is also a good framework. Then we have what we call audits. There are many audits. We have internal audits. As someone was really interested in internal controls, they can do an internal audit. Okay, so this is done by a senior member of staff or someone that is dedicated by management to come up and do an audit, but using the other policies that told you that have to be in place. Then we have external audits. Here you hire an external auditor or an external audit firm. Select one of your choice that is independent of your organization. Then you come and do an external audit. Then we have compliance audit. These are done to ensure that the company is in line with all the laws that affect it, both generally or as an industry. If you're in education, you have to thoroughly read the Education Act and make sure you're following what it says. So those are compliance audits. Then we have operational audits. These are done mainly by manufacturing companies or companies in a sensitive industry to ensure that the operations are run effectively. So what are the stages of an audit? Kindly note, an audit is a process. It is not an event. Just like a process, it has stages. Stage number 1 is planning. Who plans? The auditor plans. If it's an internal audit, you have to come up with an understanding of the environment, who your client is. You have to properly sit down and understand who the client is. The auditor has to identify key risk areas. So if someone does an audit and they don't give you any improvements or recommendations, just know there's a problem. Then develop an audit plan. How are you going to navigate the audit journey? Then execution. Now, surprisingly, people concentrate more on the execution. Yet the most important phase is the planning phase. So at execution, gather and analyze evidence. So here you have to give the auditor all the information. If it is internal, they have to get all the information they need. Then that's when you see people come at your offices or premises to conduct field audits, then test internal controls. Then finally, we have small final is reporting. So a draft of the audit report has to be shared, discussing findings with management, then finalizing and presentation of the report. Then 4, and the final one is follow-up. And this one is very important. After you've done the audit, there are issues that come up. But as a company, for you to benefit from the audit process, you have to do follow-ups. Your follow-ups with whatever was raised, if what was raised is taken good care of. So key audit procedures. The key audit procedures are risk assessment. You have to thoroughly assess the risks and impacts on the business or the financial statement. Then internal control testing. Internal controls doing whatever it was designed for, or it is just a wrong clock on the wall. Then there are substantive audit procedures. Then the analysts, here you have to look at the industry. In the industries have industrial averages, so you have to look at such things, prior versus current year, all those. Then you have to review of documentation and records to ensure that the policies set are working well. As in a process, auditing has tools. What do you use to do it? Because of this new technology and AI, people are now using audit softwares. So these audit softwares weed out what is supposed to be done. So they use those softwares. These days we are in a data-centric economy. We do data analytics. We analyze data from different angles using different lenses. Sampling methods, we use samples because you can't test the entire population. So sampling techniques, you have to have them at the back of your mind. Then we do interviews and questionnaires. So here you interview the persons doing the work. Are you really doing the work, or you're doing something else? Yeah, why should we do audit? Why should we audit? It enhances financial integrity. If your books have been under watch of an auditor, or you've been doing internal audits, your integrity, you are really aware of integrity, and you are comfortable with what you have as financial statements. Risk assessment. You really, if you properly do audits as they're supposed to be done, you know the risks you're facing and how to prevent them. So audit is important if it comes to that ingredient of risk assessment. Again, fraud prevention and detection. So fraud can easily be prevented and detected if you do proper audits, and our audits are supposed to be done. So it's important that you do audits. Even people who look as if they don't take your money, please institute an audit to ensure that what they are saying is really as is. So auditing helps us in detecting fraud, because when someone knows the patrol is under a watch, they will always be. Then we have regulatory compliance. Laws keep on changing every year and every time. So to adhere to laws and regulations, institute an audit, avoid penalties due to regulatory compliance. Then operational efficiency. How you operate really matters a lot. So if you do audits, you will get process improvements. So audits should be habits, not events that happen once in a while. So now, what are the disadvantages of non-compliance? Of course, you'll get legal and regulatory consequences. This is when you see UIS filing you, the local authorities are filing you, UNRWA is coming in, you are so. To avoid that, you have to be compliant. Worst of all is reputation damage. No company will ever work with you if you have reputation damage. So it will lead to loss of trust and negative publicity. Yeah, to reduce financial losses, if you're paying penalties, and then operational disruptions. Businesses can be stopped too. We've seen businesses where there's a stop for a while as we are investigating. So all those disruptions are caused by not having an external eye to the ground. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Robert.
Welcome.
That has been quite very exciting. We have at least learned, me and many others, because when I'm here, teaching lessons and representing a very good number of people out there, and we have learned quite a number of things here, lessons, and you see, people have questions, especially starting with the tax amendments. You know, Parliament normally passes these laws, but very many Ugandans don't really follow up to know. And even the Parliament doesn't explain to the locals about these bills and what. So people don't really sometimes understand. All they hear, the president assented to this bill and this bill. So at least you have tried to explain the income tax amendment bill 2025? Yeah, the income tax amendment bill 2025. And when you talk about the capital gains in non-business assets, what types of assets are now subject to the 5% capital gain?
Capital gains taxes are taxes that are brought from business or buildings, or disposing of business assets. So those are that is when capital gains come up, and that is tax. Yes.
So what you mean here, what do you mean when you say immovable assets?
In
Land, I have to give government 5%. Where do I pay this money?
Sometimes it is before the transaction finalized, but if an organized business, you pay it at the end of the period.
At the end of the period?
Yeah, like there is a section for filling in the
like
capital gain.
Don't you think there are so many Ugandans out there in the villages that are selling land but are not paying these taxes? Because after paying the chairman their percentage, of course they'll bag their money.
Yeah, that is now that is an administrative challenge that me and you have to sit and brainstorm on how best we can improve tax compliance. Yeah.
Then there is another question here. How does the 15-day payment deadline impact property and share transactions?
The property and shares mainly maybe if it is that other than that someone has been ordered on your behalf, and it is normally final tax.
Then there is another question here. What challenges may taxpayers face in determining the original cost of long-tail assets?
That now comes in the financial management I was talking about. So if you have proper records on what you paid when you're buying that asset, and vis-a-vis the depreciation, you can easily administer if what I have sold I've gotten something or not. So it is all about record keeping, and the law says we have to keep records for 7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
Okay. Then there is a question here on tax exemption for startups. What are the eligibility criteria for the proposed 3-year tax exemption for startups?
Your investment should be below 500 million.
Can that be a startup?
Below 500 million. Yes, 500 million is...
okay, below.
Below.
Why can't they use a term like maybe below 50 million? Why 500 million?
Yeah, like that is the thing to make it simpler.
Call it startup. Startup.
For that particular amendment. Then, two, you should be keeping proper records. Then you file, the taxman will not come to you.
So those are the eligibility.
Yeah, those are the eligibility criteria.
How might this exemption influence entrepreneurship and innovation in Uganda?
It is going to, because you find businesses have been paying money that they would have used to stabilize. Remember, there's so many research that has been done on Ugandan companies that you find some cannot exceed the first 2 years. So that is why such proposals are coming up. As a person, I think it is going to help businesses move. But now I don't know if maybe Ugandans are now going to open up new companies to get into that advantage.
Okay, so are you out there who has a startup? I think this is very good news for you. You have tax exemption for 3 years. The first 3 years. So what if I have this business for those 3 years, and when taxing starts, I give up on the business?
Those people administering this tax will come up with that again. I think now that is why they are picking up new numbers. Is that if while gets disadvantaged, he will never get it again. I think that is why.
Okay. Then another question here. Are there potential risks of misuse or unintended consequences associated with this exemption?
Just like anything in the world, you can never weed out unintended consequences. That's why tax laws are changed each and every year. Like the exercise duty on MOUs. It was just passed recently, but it has worked for 1 year and they are scrapping it off. So expect things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. If there are unintended consequences, they can just reverse.
Then some of our people following on Facebook here.
You talked about the extension of Jagali hydropower project, tax exemption.
To 2030.
Yeah, what are the implications of extending that?
Jagali won't pay taxes, but it want to. Maybe it has a job creation effect on the economy. I don't know, maybe. So government weighs in all those options and see.
Okay.
Maybe, and it being a huge investment, you might find they are still investing. Yeah.
That is understandable.
And then someone was asking a question that I don't think is relatable, but it is okay. It was like, how does this extension affect electricity pricing and industrial growth?
Things like that. So the consultants, people in that industry can have more insights into that. But for me, I think it is more of managing the costing and motivate the investor to continue with the project.
What are the arguments
for and against such long-term tax exemptions for large infrastructure projects? Do you think it is very important when such projects get exemption, those bigger projects?
Yeah, but
Are they not getting a lot of money from Uganda and just taking the money?
It's a multiplier project. If power settles, do you know how many companies are going to come in existence? So I think they look at that multiplier. How many people are you going to employ, things like that. And I think that is why now they are brought this avenue for startup, since we have a very huge unemployment rate, so youth can start up businesses. So it's more of weighing into the multiplier. You can be convinced or not, but now the problem is we are not explained to that. I think for me it's more of the multiplier effect of projects.
Okay.
Because just an increase in the manufacturing, just an increase in electricity and fuel costs, it can push up the cost of products.
Okay.
Then you also talked about the digital services tax. And someone wants to know, what is the scope of the proposed 5% DST on non-resident digital service providers?
Those were amendments for last year.
Those were for last year?
Yes, those were amendments for last year. So they wanted to book into digital platforms. I hear Facebook pays its whatever, Twitter and all those other avenues. So government wanted some share of that.
Okay.
Because if you've ever paid Zoom as a company, I think you've seen that other percentage telling you to submit your TIN number and that.
Then there is
What are the proposed withholding tax rates for profits earned by members of collective investments?
Someone has maybe they have. I think that is still exempt. I think that is still exempt.
Okay. What
measures can be taken to mitigate any negative impacts on small investors?
There are so many. That is a broader discussion. It involves many fields: investment planners, tax consultants, business people. So I can give it one angle, then it is a broader discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very, very broad discussion.
Then there is this issue you talked about, simplification of tax identification numbers. How does the proposal to use NIMs and business registration has been simplified, tax registration.
Yeah,
do,
like,
do they want to charge everyone tax, everyone? You know?
like, remember, these are intermarried proposals that come up. Remember, you have FIA. So you use you use your NIN numbers to open up your bank account. Okay. So here you come in a business, you don't use your NIN numbers or tax purposes. So they just want to attach your, can I say? They just want to attach your financial health to make sure there is nothing like money laundering or something taking place. So they just want to beef up tax compliance. Who's the owner of this TIN number? Things like that, so that they can really know all your sources.
But I think Ugandans will have to fear, because sometimes, you know, Ugandans, they are unpredictable. When you tell them to start up a business, we need your NIN, the NIN has to be attached to this. For us to know whether you're tax compliant, we have to use your NIN. I think very many Ugandans will start like asking for some other people's NINs for them to use in their businesses. But anyway, we'll see how the implementation will be done. And then there is another question here.
Because these laws are, they have financial implication and all that. So I think that is all catered for. And remember, it's a journey.
Then what are the potential benefits and challenges of this integration for taxpayers and the URA?
My good friends, the traders, they have been splitting containers, allegedly. So now they are bringing up a window of 7 days. So all the goods you declare in those 7 days, they just consider them as one entry.
Okay.
It's a very big campaign that is going on. If you go downtown and you start saying those things, you can be slapped in the face.
Then what are the conditions under which taxpayers can benefit from
The proposed waiver on interest and penalties for overdue taxes up to June 2026.
Automatically, that day you pay, the interest and penalties are reversed.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much
This
incentive
encourage tax compliance and improve revenue collection.
It does because of these recent tax amendments. You find TCCs are needed.
What are these TCCs?
For tax clearance certificates are needed for any business transactions. Yeah, so if you give me chance to clear my areas, it can be very good to me. So to me, I think they want to bring people back into business. They want to bring people back into business to ensure that their tax compliance is ahead.
Then there is another question here. Still about no. Now there are questions about business auditing. Someone is asking, is there a difference between internal and external audit?
Very big difference.
And what is that difference? This one wants to understand that difference.
The difference is internal auditing can be done by anyone, whereas external audit has to be done by a registered accountant from a certified accounting firm. Okay, that is one. And then two, their products also differ. The product of an internal audit is a management letter, and it stops there. But the product of an external audit is audited. Many people think auditors give them audited books of accounts, but no, the result is an audit opinion and a management letter. So those are the two differences, and then also the methods they use. Many external auditors sample, internal auditors might test the entire population. Yeah.
Then we have another question.
From X. Who is responsible for conducting an audit in a company? And what are the main objectives of a business audit?
Yeah, now, that is now, it is the same as the last question. An audit can be an internal, compliance, so all those kinds of audit I've given. Okay, but so for an internal audit, you can get someone within the company or outsource. But for external auditors, they have to be very independent of the organization. Yes.
Okay. So our viewers out
There, continue following, sharing our link, so that very many others can also benefit from this training. Those on X, continue comment, send your comments, send your questions. Those on YouTube, please also do the same. There is a question here. What are the main steps in conducting a business audit? This one wants to understand the steps from step 1 to the very last step.
Planning. You have to thoroughly plan the audit. Execution. That is now when you see auditors asking you for information every time. Then reporting. That is when they give you reports and all that. And then finally, audit follow-up. This step is key. You have to follow up with what has been talked about as an auditor. So those are the major steps. But starts with, for auditing, for the auditors, they have the pre-planning, planning, execution, reporting, and then follow-up. So planning is key because it has pre-planning and then planning. Yeah.
Okay, so those are the major steps.
No, those are the steps.
Those are the only steps.
Those are the
So there is nothing like any other step other than that.
Others can maybe a breakdown of those ones, but those are the major ones.
So what documents and records are typically reviewed during the audit?
This really depends. On the type of audit that we have, like invoices, bank accounts, supplier confirmation, auditors. So basically, you see, for an audit, it's all round, because you might look at financial statements, yet the person has a legal case. Yet the person has a legal case. So it is all round. For example, you can be doing a business that maybe government has banned. So an auditor comes in and tells you, stop, there's no business next year. Okay, today you've survived, but next year there's no business. Or if you continue doing such and such a business, things that such and such a person is going to happen. Such and such a thing is going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And we have another
Question here. How is an audit plan developed? And then it is followed with another question here. What is an audit trail and why is it important?
Let me start with an audit plan. Just like any activity, it should have objectives. So you design audit plans to ensure that the audit objectives are taken care of. And also the risk assessment to ensure that the risks that have been identified are taken care of. So audit plans, depending on the objectives of the activities, risks assessed. So from those you can know which procedures I'm going to do. Yes. Because you might find an audit only needs 2 days if you want to spend months. So that's basically an audit. Because an audit plan has the activity, who, when, and how the activity is going to be done. Then someone talked about an audit trail. Audit trail are things to do with IT environment. So audit trails are more of at the back end of your accounting system. They can know who did what, when, and where. So that's an audit trail.
Okay. Then we have
a question here. How do auditors assess risk during the audit process?
There are so many avenues they use. Experience. The industry trends, what is happening in the industry, how sensitive is the industry. For example, if they take you to audit an hospital, you can't do it alone. You have to invite a doctor or someone like that to come in maybe and look at the medicines. Then they tell you these ones and these ones have this problem. The audit procedures may be the medical procedures. Such and such a procedure is missing. So if you do it minus engaging. So basically that's it.
Okay. We have very many questions here, but I urge you,
Ladies and gentlemen, to share the link, continue following us, subscribe, just subscribe to Vector Energies on YouTube, subscribe to Vector Energies on Twitter, subscribe to Vector Energies on Facebook. We will read your comment, we will read your question, and the consultant will respond to it. CNOC is sponsoring this online enterprise development program just to help you make sure that you have a very good business, that your business really prospers. It's the reason that's why CNOC has decided to sponsor this whole session. Remember, we started today and we will be having this session throughout the week. We will be getting very many consultants here teaching you about different topics. We will learn about branding and marketing. We will learn about health and safety. We will do business planning. There is quite a lot that you will really learn from these sessions. Remember, we started today, and I tell you we will be here every day starting 8 up to midday. So, Mr. Senoga, let's continue with the questions that need to be answered. Someone is having a question here still about the audit processes. What is the relationship between auditing and internal controls?
What can I say? Auditing checks internal control. To check the effectiveness of internal controls. How effective are internal controls?
So how does it help ensure compliance of the laws and regulations?
Because from the audit plan, let's say we are doing a tax audit. You have to have knowledge of the tax laws or read them. Then the tax law says by 15th you should have paid pay and NSSF. So as an auditor, you go to the company, ask the accountant, show me your tax returns, show me your NSSF returns. Then they innocently give you. After giving you, you identify maybe in Feb you didn't file on 15th, like that. Yeah. So auditing is a pillar for effective internal controls, compliance, and all those other advantages that it brings about. It brings on the table.
Okay.
I see another question here. What are the consequences of failing an audit? Failing to comply with the audit procedures.
Nowadays, for people who have revenue above 500, if you don't do an audit, your tax return will not go through. Okay. You'll be losing on operational effectiveness. There are risks of non-compliance that are going to happen to you. So it is very, very important that audits are done. Yeah, and they should be done in the proper way. That is why I labored to show you how these processes are supposed to move. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Senoga. Let's go for a very short break, and we'll come back and conclude with today's session. Thank you.
SINOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. SINOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to SINOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
SINOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and SINOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
SINOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
SINOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. SINOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. SINOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
SINOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
All the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend the night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying yes, it is possible.
Of the SINOC Online Enterprise Development Program. And remember, today has been our very first day, 2025. And we are here with Mr. Senoga, and he has been trying to teach us about financial management. We have learned about filing tax returns, and here we are trying to understand the new tax amendments. And many of you have been sending in your questions via the different platforms on X. Some of you have been sending on Facebook, and some of you have sent in your questions via YouTube. And here I have some questions about audit findings. And here is a question: what should a business do after receiving an audit report? What should the business do after receiving an audit report?
By the way, in the audit process, auditors have to be communicating and engaging management. Even before they give you your management letters, they should have informed you of what they are going to do or ask you for any other information that you need to give them. But normal audit findings, they have they are like at our firm, how we structure it. We give you the audit issue, the implication, and the solution of what you're supposed to do. Rarely will an auditor throw just a finding to hang like that. Because they're experts, they identify an issue, they tell you the implication and what you need to do. So they have steps. After telling you what to do, you also give in your input. That for such and such an issue, I'll short it maybe in 2 years. Such and such, we shall not do it again, like that. So, but you have, so it's a two-way traffic. It's a two-way communication. That is good. That's what good auditors are supposed to do, not to punish you. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Then, what roles does management play in responding to audit findings?
Yeah, they have to look at the finding. They really affirm they have it. Then they respond with the timelines and maybe budget implications and what they need to do with their finances. Okay. Maybe an auditor can maybe say you need to hire a professional accountant. What do? You have to say maybe next year I will hire. Okay. Yes.
So that's all management is supposed to do.
Yes.
And then how are material misstatements identified and addressed?
Those are identified at the execution stage of the audit. For example, you might disclassify an expense as an asset. So an auditor comes in, looks through your books of accounts, then tells you adjust this, and this before I sign off the audit report. Yeah. So that's how they are identified. There are always mechanisms on how to identify problems because of their expertise and experience.
Okay. How can a company implement audit recommendations effectively?
Yeah, by coming up with an audit tracker. So that tracker will always tell you what you've done and what you've not done. And good auditors, they have first look at the prior audit report and engagement letter, management letter. Then they identify whatever you've done. If you've not done, they put it up and then they tell you, even this was not done, but even if this is not done, there's still such and such problems. So it is something, that's why I was telling you, audit is not an event. It is a process.
Okay. I see someone else has a question here, but it it's kind of not clear. Let me see. What are the fundamental principles that guide auditing? Like when we talk about integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, they are the same.
They are the same principles that accountants follow. Integrity, professional due care, independence, confidentiality, so all those. They are the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do inherent risk, control risk, and detection risk interact?
Inherent risk.
Yeah, the control risk.
It is embedded. And it is like, for example, if you go to an hospital, be well assured there are some drugs that you don't touch with your bare hand. Or in the audit profession, maybe, for example, if you're auditing cash and bank, it is susceptible to being stolen. Yeah. So as an auditor, you have to weed out all that. Then, detection risk is a risk that you will not detect the errors by designing inefficient audit procedures. Yeah.
But how does this auditing differ in a private sector compared to
audit is audit?
Audit is audit. It is the same.
Now, for the private sector, we use international financial reporting standards. Okay. For government, they are using IPSOS, International Public Something Accounting Standards. So, by the way, auditing, all those set laws and standards are looked at. Your local laws, then you start weeding out where there is non-compliance. Maybe assets are not classified as they're supposed to, like that. You don't file your returns on time, things like that.
Okay, I think the very last question then Mr. Senoga will give us a recap of all the topics that he has covered today. In what ways can auditing support strategic decision making in an organization?
It is a key pillar for strategies. That is why you see banks, they have a risk department, okay, internal audit departments and compliance. 3 departments almost doing the same interconnected activities. Just like a risk, for example, if you have a school and maybe your toilets are not in good shape, just that risk can cause your company to close. So if auditors just come and skip such pertinent things, danger is coming in. And it's also a ladder on which strategies are built, effective strategies, because each company faces unique problems. For example, if you go to logistics companies, they hold a lot of cash just because of their nature of business. So when you come in and then tell them that companies are not supposed to hold cash, you'll be doing the right thing in a wrong place. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Senoga. I think those are some of the questions that you people have really sent in, and he has answered almost all of you. Let me hope you are satisfied with the responses. And for now, I think I will request Mr. Senoga to just take us briefly through all what he has taught today, what he has discussed today, so that we just get insights from all the topics. Just take us through from the very first to the last one. Just giving like hints.
Yeah, the first topic was financial management. A rock on which financial success is built. So, in this, I came up with things to do with the budget. Most important documents that are needed and what effective financial management can do for the company. Then number 2 I talked about filing returns and how important, again, financial management is in making sure you have good returns. Okay? Then number 3 was about the recent tax amendment. So that you can plan, if you're planning of starting a business, you have to know there are some exemptions waiting for you. So things like that. Then finally, we talked about auditing, which I felt was important to share with the audience, because many people just do auditing as an event. Yet it is a process that is properly structured. For you to get any benefits from an audit process, you have to know what it's supposed to be and how it benefits the company. So that was it for today. We touch base same time tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. For all our followers that have been following this engagement from the time we started at exactly 9, we started with Mr. Eric, the National Content Manager at SINOC, and he gave us insight into these engagements, why they really started these engagements, why these engagements have to continue every year, and he was telling us about the beneficiaries, some of the people that have benefited from these engagements, and he was telling us much about how Ugandans have really benefited from the national content plan that they have as SINOC Uganda. Remember, SINOC is here to stay, and as Ugandans, I know very many of you have benefited, very many of you have been awarded the contracts, and you are doing very good business with SINOC Uganda. And as Mr. Eric also told you earlier, these engagements will be going on every day from today up to like Saturday, every morning starting at 8 up to midday, and we shall have very many facilitators here touching different topics that are of great importance to you people who are in business. If you have an SME, if you have a very huge enterprise, this is just for you. You have to learn, you have to know compliance, you have to know how to market and to brand your business. You have to know about the PPEs, health, and all that. There is a lot that you learn from our consultants that will be here. We also thank Vectra Energies, the implementer, which is implementing this initiative. And for all those that have been watching us live on YouTube, those that have been watching us live on X, and those that are watching us live on Facebook, we thank you. I just have to say that share the link, subscribe to our pages, follow our X, subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that tomorrow you don't miss, you don't have to miss. Please click on that button. That will really help you. Remember that tomorrow we have another session that will be starting at exactly 8, and it will end at midday. So tomorrow we will still continue with Mr. Senoga Robert, and he has a very good package for us. So ladies and gentlemen, I sign out. I remain yours, Michael Waila, who will be moderating this throughout the week. I thank you.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in a Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks, driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend a night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying, yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
Oilfields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after Sinnock Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. Sinnock will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. Sinnock has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. Sinnock collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. Sinnock, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to Sinnock Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
Sinnock sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I'd always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and Sinnock has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Sinnock focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
Sinnock Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. Sinnock invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety, Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius supporting events like the Chinese Bridge competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song competition. SINOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
SINOC Uganda Limited is committed to building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.